Sup nerds! With Burning Springs we got several new fish specific to this region, so I figured let's update the fishing video since there were some more axolotls that I had caught since the last time we updated this as well. So let's go! Let's take a look at everything to collect with fishing in Fallout 76. Of course we will have to start with the fish. There are a lot of fish to catch, which is awesome. We'll go by region, but the generic ones are caught anywhere, so let's go with those first. There are currently 8 of them, and they are the Brook Silverside, Chain Pickerel, Red Belly, even though the belly itself isn't really red here. The Reach Trout. Smoky Salmon, yummy. Sunscreen, and I must say these models look fantastic. Walleye, and the yellow bullhead. And catching all 8 of them gets you the Rocket Bobber, which is one of my favorite even though it is the easiest to unlock. Then in the forest region we can catch the Timber Sawgill, which is the common fish of this region. The Kanawha Piranha, very nasty looking, small uncommon fish. The Blood Whisker, a large uncommon catfish. And the glowing Kanawha Piranha, which is of course the glowing fish of this region. Catching all 4 of these fish in the forest region gets you the Red Tide Float. Then in the Toxic Valley we can catch the Noxious Sawgill, the Potbelly Kelp, the Purple Radpole. This one in particular, they made it way too long, but every fish looks very stiff coming out of the water, so this long fish looks extra stiff, making it look kind of weird when pulling them out of the water, but it is what it is. And the glowing Potbelly Kelp. And catching all 4 from the Toxic Valley will get you the Pin Bobber. Now, in the Ash Heap region we can catch the Sooty Sawgill, the Ashen Ambusher, The death jaw, very cool and very big. And the glowing ambusher. Catching all 4 fish from the ash heap unlocks the Flamewood Float. Then in the Savage Divide, we can catch the Alpine Sawgill, the Leatherback, the Armored Spinefish, which is super cool looking, and the glowing Spinefish. And catching all 4 fish from the Savage Divide unlocks the Crimson Stripe Float. Now, in the Mire region, we can catch the Muddy Sawgill, the Gulpy, which is honestly pretty cute, the Spike Snapper, and the glowing Gulpy. And honestly, I wish I could raise a Gulpy as a pet. And catching all 4 fish from the mire unlocks the Festive Float. Then in the Cranberry Bog region, we can catch the Bog Sawgill, which I gotta say is the nastiest looking sawgill. The Blisterfish, which is nightmare fuel. The Bog Lurker, also pretty freaky. And the glowing Bog Lurker. Weird that the glowing version is less freaky than the normal version. But catching all 4 fish from the Cranberry Bog unlocks the Twin Timber Float. Now, in the Skyline Valley, we can catch the Static Sawgill, which is the only sawgill that is kinda half-eaten. I guess they are the only zombified fish. Bluefin Zapper, also pretty eaten, as you can see the spine in the back. The Storm Swimmer, which despite being a lost fish, like the previous 2, it has a pristine looking skin, none of it is eaten, so it looks fantastic. And the glowing Storm Swimmer. Catching all 4 fish from the Skyline Valley unlocks the Skyfire Float. And catching all of these regional fish will unlock the title of captain for both the prefix and the suffix, which is awesome. Then in Burning Springs region, we can catch the rusted sawgill, which is the common fish of this region. The Brahmin, which is like Brahmin fish, in that he has 2 heads and it is pink all over. Pretty ugly, to be honest. The Withered Red Eye, which definitely looks like the non-merged version of the Brahmin. It looks just as skinny though. And the Glowing Brahmin, which of course is the glowing version of the Brahmin. And catching all 4 fish from the Burning Springs gets you the Babydoll head bobber, which is honestly pretty creepy. Imagine that thing bobbing up and down. Now for the local legends, there are now a total of 4 legendary fish, and they only spawn in specific places, and they are the Organ Grinder, which can be found inside of the Organ Cave in the forest region, and this guy is just a recolor of the Blood Whisker. In fact, all of the legends are just recolors, which is kinda disappointing. But because this one spawns inside of the cave, there won't be any weather effects in there to boost the hook rate. The real Kanath Maw Begotten, catchable in the Big Maw in the Mire region, and again, it's just a recolor of the Spike Snapper. I mean, they could have made it at least bigger than the normal Spike Snapper, but they didn't. And because it is out in the overworld, weather can affect it, but because it is in a specific location of the map, you won't be able to force weather effects of your own. The Wavy Woolard, catchable in the Wavy Woolard's water park in the Toxic Valley, and this too, just a leatherback recolor. Although here they did kind of give it a croc skin texture looking to the skin, and croc eyes, since Wavy Woolard is supposed to be a crocodile, but honestly, any of the larger fish could have looked like a better Wavy Woolard than a tiny leatherback. Again, they could have at least made it larger than normal leatherbacks, but nope, just a recolor. And here too, because it is in a pre-existing location, even though it is on the open world, you can't force your own weather effects on there. And the Hawking Hill Hellion, which can be caught at the Ash Cave, in this specific pond right here. And though this is also a recolor of the Deathjaw, just in a reddish color, this one also has some of these spikes on its head, which wasn't there in the normal Deathjaw. And just like the other legends, this too, despite being out in the open world, it is in a named location, so you won't be able to make a camp nearby to change the weather. And catching any of the local legends will unlock the Fish Display Plaque, which of course is used to display the fish you've caught, which is great, but like I mentioned in the display video, there's a limit to how many of these displays you can make in your camp and shelter, and it is much less than how many fish there are, so that's really disappointing. Speaking of displays, the Curve Fish display is one of the plans that you can get when you finish the daily fishing quest. And some people prefer this one over the Plague, as it is more of a makeshift vibe, a more fisherman vibe if you will. Another display you can get from the daily fishing quests is the Fishing Rod display, and this too gives a makeshift fisherman vibe. And here you will have to make a second fishing rod to be able to display that. We can also get several other camp items from the daily fishing quest, and they are the Chum Trough, which super gross, blah. The Drowned Box Lamp, the Drowned Floodlight, the Drowned Signal Lantern, the Drowned Chesterfield Chair, the drowned Chesterfield sofa, the drowned coffee table, the drowned fancy desk, the drowned presidential desk, the eel in the bottle, which is a floor decor but does give off a dim light of its own, so that's super cool. Then there are the fishing rod upgrades that you can get from these daily fishing quests as well, but you can't really see them or show them off, so I can just list them off. The advanced drag, which is the most sought after mod, the attractive hook, the improved bearing, the stabilized gear ratio, and the steady handle. There are some recipes here too, and again, I don't tend to mention recipes in my videos, but I guess I can just list them off as well, as they are rewards for the daily fishing quest. You can get the grilled fish recipe from doing the first quest, but there's also a chance to get the recipe for fish chowder, and the fish potatoes, which is fish and chips, I guess. Now, going back to the challenges, we already did mention a few where I thought was fitting, but there are many more stuff that we can get here, amongst them more fishing rod upgrades, which again, you can't really show them off, so I will just list them here again. You can get the Mark 1 reel by catching any medium fish and catching any 5 small fish. Then you can get the Mark 2 reel by catching 5 of any sawgill, a Kanawha piranha from the forest region, and a leatherback from the Savage Divide region. Then you can get the Mark 3 reel by catching any axolotl, 3 ashen ambushers from the Ash Heap region, and 3 bluefin zappers from the Skyline Valley region. Then, finally, you can get the Mark 4 reel by catching 5 dash jaws from the Ash Heap region, 5 glowing bog lurkers from the Cranberry Bog region, and 5 purple radpoles from the Toxic Valley region. These are, of course, not only very helpful, but also a necessity if you're going to go after the local legends. Anyway, now, from catching any 15 fish, you can unlock the Kelp Curtains. Kinda gross to think about, cause it must smell terrible after a while, but very thematic at least. Then, if you catch an additional 76 fish, because the 15 from before don't count for these ones, you can get the Fisherman's cooking station. Then, if you catch an additional 250 fish, because the previous 15 and 76 are not cumulative like I mentioned, you can get the Scubatank Backpack, which is definitely one of the cooler backpack skins that we have. Even though we don't have any outfit at the moment that thematically goes well with the scuba tank, but like I mentioned in the backpack video, you can use it as a sort of propane tank or something of the sort for a few different outfits. And with an additional 760 fish caught, that is a lot of fish, you can unlock the title of Lunker. Now, catching any one glowing fish will unlock the reclaimed ship Chandelier. Then catching any additional 15 glowing fish unlocks the Quantum Bobber, which is de facto the most useful one as it glows in the dark, making it easier to see. And catching an additional 76 glowing fish, you unlock the Makeshift Rod, and believe you me when I say that this is the hardest challenge in this list, or at least the most boringly long-lasting one. This will be the very last challenge that isn't time-gated that you will finish. But hey, at least you get a cool little fishing rod made from the handlebars and gears of a bicycle, which is very cool. Then catching any 3 axolotls, yes, even repeats, you can unlock the title of Axolotl, and catching all 12 axolotls, 12 different ones, which of course it is time gated as you will get only one kind per month, so we will only be able to finish this in May of 2026 at the very earliest. But yeah, we unlocked the title of the month. Sure, Bethesda, sure. But speaking of axolotls, currently we can only catch the one from June called the Banded Axolotl, catchable in the Toxic Valley and the Mire, and I love how this one looks. After all, yellow is my favorite color. But in July we'll be able to catch the Scaled Axolotl in the Forest and the Ash Heap regions. In August we'll be able to catch the Striped Axolotl in the Skyline Valley and the Mire. In September we'll be able to catch the Shadow Axolotl in the Toxic Valley and the Ash Heap. In October, we'll be able to catch the Spotted Axolotl in the Savage Divide and the Toxic Valley. In November, we'll be able to catch the Speckled Axolotl in the Cranberry Bog and the Forest. In December, we'll be able to catch the Stone Axolotl in the Toxic Valley and the Ash Heap. In January, we will be able to catch the Charcoal Axolotl in the Skyline Valley and the Savage Divide. In February, we will be able to catch the Pink Axolotl in the Cranberry Bog and the Forest region. In March, we'll be able to catch the Clay Axolotl in the Skyline Valley and the Toxic Valley. In April, we'll be able to catch the Dotted Axolotl in the Mire and the Ash Heap region. And in May, we'll be able to catch the Purple Axolotl in the Skyline Valley and the Cranberry Bog. And finally, my favorite rewards here, which sadly are also time-gated. By completing 7 daily fishing quests, you unlock the Mirelurk plushie, which I love very much. Then completing 14 additional daily fishing quests, we get the Angler plushie, and this one, just like the Mirelurk one, does score a A+ in the looks. I do love it quite a bit. And of course, we did do 28 extra days of daily fishing quests after the Angler one to get this Boat Crab plushie. Obviously, this is supposed to be Linda Lee. To be honest, I do like the other two much better. This one, I don't know, it's a little bit puffier, it doesn't look as fuzzy and soft somehow. So kind of feels like all those days wasn't really worth it, but still happy to finally have the full collection. And that's it. Every fishing related things in Fallout 76 so far. So tell me, were you able to catch all of the fish? And which one is your favorite looking one? Let me know in the comments down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Consider helping the channel out by clicking join down below to become a member. Subscribe to see more videos like this, and of course, always fish on.